All right, hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this video to learn more about joining the crew at myTEAM Triumph. My name is Christian Jensen. I'm the Executive Director of myTEAM Triumph Wisconsin, and I'm honored that you're taking this time to learn more about this vital role to our mission. So throughout this video, I'm going to go over a little bit about the organization, our mission, our structure, and then I'll dive into the individual roles that we offer in each of our crew positions and help you understand what those look like. And hopefully it excites you and interests you. And then I'll tell you at the end how you can sign up and apply to be part of the team. Okay? Here we go. Let's dive in. So we are, of course, a nonprofit organization, myTEAM Triumph. We are a chapter of a national organization. We have 15 chapters around the U.S. and Canada. And at myTEAM Triumph Wisconsin, we serve the entire state of Wisconsin. And I'll talk a little bit later about how we are organized regionally and how we're organized from a structural standpoint. But from a basic standpoint, what do we do and why do we do it? Let's dive into our mission at myTEAM Triumph. So, mission. Our mission is to enrich the well-being of individuals with diverse abilities and foster lifelong relationships through community athletics. Now, we do that through a few areas. We do that through social opportunities, training runs and rides and swims, and of course racing. So running, biking, triathlon events, road races, dirt, snow, especially here in Wisconsin, and really all different distances. Most of our events are very short in duration, 5Ks, 10Ks, those types of things. But we also do longer events too. And we even do really long events like Ironmans or ultra marathons and some of that really crazy stuff. But really the whole goal is, how do we help people with disabilities get connected into a community? And we believe that the endurance event community is one of the most powerful places that we can build inclusion. Why? When you do a race with someone, when you hit the start line and you look around you and you see the fellow runners, the only thing that matters is that you have together, every one of you, a start line and a finish line and a journey to take. Everything else, where you came from, what you look like, what your ability level is, none of that matters because you're on a shared journey together. And rarely do you find a place where you can build connections and friendships and really cool relationships in a more rapid way than you will when you do an endurance race, right? I mean, think about it. How often have you been in a race and you do the race not knowing anyone, and then you meet people along the route, you're sharing stories, you're helping each other out, you're giving encouragement, and by the end of the race, you have become friends with, dozens of people, hundreds of people, that you've interacted with over the course of the event, So we all need a shared goal and a shared bond that endurance events brings. And it's really an awesome, awesome experience. And so we, of course, bring people with disabilities into this community where normally people are not expecting to see and interact with them. We provide the specialized race equipment. We provide all of the race day support and logistics. We facilitate training runs and all that social experience. And again, going back to our mission, it's really all about building those relationships that we have, those connections, because we believe relationships are one of the key components to high levels of well-being. So that's a little bit about the mission of myTEAM Triumph. Let's go into more of where we operate here. So we cover the entire state of Wisconsin. We have 8 regions currently. We are operating in, number 1, the North Central region, which is based out of Wausau, Eau Claire region, Northeast region, which is Green Bay, Door County, Kewaunee County. The Fox Valley region is based out of Appleton, but we do events in Oshkosh and Kaukauna. The Milwaukee region, the central region based out of Madison, Lake Geneva, and then southeast, which is Kenosha and Racine. And every one of these regions has what we call a crew. And these are, of course, our local leaders that are putting our mission on in each of those communities. Who we are. So we have 3 levels of roles in the organization. Our board of directors, we always talk about them as the AAA, the ambassadors, the advocates, and the askers. They're really that governance body that's also out in the community and connecting us to potential partners and building bridges that will help us be more mission successful. From a staff perspective, myself being one of those staff and our other 2 roles, we really work to have the behind the scenes support for our mission. And that brings along with it the administrative efforts, the development or fundraising efforts, and then the structural, scalable program efforts that we offer. And then, of course, the crew, right? So these are the people in each of these 8 communities, like I mentioned, that are doing the local outreach. They're facilitating training runs. They are doing some local fundraising efforts and, of course, supporting our teams to participate in racing events. So what are let's go a little bit about just more of a high-level crew role. So like I mentioned, supporting the local efforts, each of our roles have unique fits based on skill sets, which we'll talk about. In general, we ask each of our crew members to support at least 1 to 2 training runs per month. So, every other week, come to a training run and support the Angels and Captains coming, and then support 2 to 3 races per year in person. Our season typically lasts from April through October or November, depending on the weather and what events are happening in that region. And there's also some awesome perks for a member, right? So if you are a crew member, you will receive a free Premier Triumph membership, which basically means that you can race in any one of our events all over the state of Wisconsin for completely free. No registration costs, no fundraising necessary. It's just one way that we can say thank you for your service. You also get a really sweet discount to our merchandise store, whether it's pop-up or online. So there's some really awesome perks. There are other perks as well, other benefits, I should say. You are going to develop some awesome communication and leadership skills. You get to interact with a population that normally you probably have never done. It's an awesome resume builder. And you are literally going to be connecting with and serving the people that are benefiting from your efforts. These aren't people that are hundreds of miles away and you're sending your money, you're hoping that they're benefiting. These are people that you're going to meet. These are people that you're going to get to know, you're going to build a connection with. And you're going to see how their lives blossom from the connections and the stories and the adventures that they take when they participate in myTEAM Triumph. So, what are the crew roles? So, here are our positions. So, the first one is a regional manager. Now, this is actually a paid contract role. So, each region will have a regional manager. They are kind of the head of the region. Then we have a race manager, a social manager, training, equipment, fundraising, and outreach. I'll go into each of these more in depth, but each of these really represent a core aspect to our programs and our mission in each of our regions. Each of these roles have a connection with our staff or our board in terms of training, in terms of support, in terms of infrastructure. So basically what we seek to do is build a infrastructure support system for each of our regions that make it really manageable for our crew members to be able to serve on our crew and still have lives, and also to be really, really successful. So that has been one of the key things about our crew positions from the very start. We really want to make sure that our crew members have the opportunity to be part of the mission, but if I have to go to a soccer game or I have a job, it's not going to consume my entire life. So on average during the season, you're going to put in probably an hour to 2 hours a week. And that includes training runs. Of course, that fluctuates based on if it's an event week. Obviously, you're going to do a little bit more because you probably be at the race. But on average, it's about 1 to 2 hours of time commitment during the week. During the season. In the off season, we try to be very light, but we do have some activities. We have an annual conference that we get everyone together. We have a gala. We do some communication with our crew members during that time frame, but we try to make that a really good off season, and that obviously happens in the winter time in Wisconsin, which is November up to the end of May. We do also do some winter activities, but we try to keep that pretty light and just to keep people connected during that time frame. So let's go through each one of these roles so you guys can learn a little bit more about it. So number one, the regional manager. Like I mentioned, this is a contractor position. So this is a paid position. You will receive a annual fee for your efforts, and we pay this individual because they are going to be and very much having a deep level of ownership in the region for mission accomplishment. They will meet regularly with the MTT staff. They will work on recruiting and supporting their crew members. They will develop local event schedules and budgets in collaboration with us, our staff. And they'll work on presenting to groups for recruitment and sponsorship. And so they are going to really have a strong level of ownership and a strong level of connection with our staff. This is not a full-time position in any way. Do not think about this as a staff role or a job. It's really from season to season, helping us be mission successful. And from a time standpoint, this person will put in a little bit more. Given that is a paid position, I would estimate on average of 4 to 6 hours a week for this individual. So that's our regional manager. This is a new role to the organization as of 2022, but we're really excited about what this role can bring. So if you're looking to have a little bit more ownership, you want to have a deeper role, you want to really have a big impact and earn some compensation, then this is a great one to consider. Race manager. So the race manager is the detail person. This is the person that loves to be organized and loves to kind of keep everything and everyone moving down the path, right? So those are the skill sets, right? So they are going to organize the rosters for each regional event. So as people register for the races that are coming up in your region, they're the ones that are going through our system and pairing people up based on their preferences or speed. And they're also communicating with the team members via email regarding race day plans and logistics for the upcoming events. And as the event gets closer, they will be assigning the crew and the volunteers for race day roles. So what this means is, in general, each of these roles have a kind of lead up role, behind the scenes role, but when we get to race day, it's a little different. So it might be, even if I'm a social manager, I may work on checking people in or handing out t-shirts, or I may be putting together chairs, or I may be pumping up boats, or I may be doing the swag shop, or whatever it might be. So their job is to make sure that between the crew members and the other volunteers that sign up for the race, that we have all those roles filled so that when we get to race day, everyone knows what to do, and we help our participants have an awesome experience, right? Okay, so social manager. So we're not always about racing. We love racing, we love training, but we also love to just build connections. And so we make it an effort to plan and execute social events. So this could be a variety of things. It could be a pizza night at a local restaurant. It could be a cookout where you do your training runs. It could be a dine to donate night where it's kind of coupled with a fundraiser, whatever it might be. But really the goal is not necessarily to run, bike, or swim. It's just really about getting together and having fellowship and building relationships with your fellow team members. So the social manager will work on planning those events through the season. We like each one of our regions to have a season kickoff and a postseason celebration, and then some sort of social event during the season if they prefer. But at least those two events. So they'll work on planning those events throughout the season. Next, training manager. So we obviously love to train, and through the season, April through October, we ask each of our regions puts on local weekly training runs, rides, or swims, right? So every one of our locations has a truck or trailer filled with chairs, and that seeks to be the meeting place, or we tow that to a meeting place, and we get the chairs out and we have planned routes. Sometimes we like to change it up from time to time and join certain groups, or go over here and do a swim, or go over to this place and do a bike ride, just keeping it fresh and fun for our team members. Really what we love to be able to see is that our captains and angels are joining us, not just as they prepare for a particular race, but really prepare for a season. Again, it's not about racing, it's about relationships. So we see that quite a bit. People get really pumped about coming to training runs in April, and then they're with us the entire spring, summer, and fall, and they just have a lot of fun. And it becomes something I love to see on my Facebook page, because people are posting photos of it's Wednesday night, or it's Monday night, or it's Tuesday night, depending on when each of our regions have training runs. And we love to be able to see those pictures of people getting together and smiling and high-fiving and all that good stuff. So the training manager will plan that schedule. A lot of that is a regular schedule, but also considering how they can keep things fresh and do some unique, fun things to always keep the experiences unique. Next is our equipment manager. So like I mentioned, each one of our regions has its own trailer or truck filled with race chairs and boats and trailers and miscellaneous pieces of equipment. So this is a key part to our mission. We provide all this equipment free of charge to our captains to use. They do not have to own it. We do a lot of work to raise money to purchase and maintain this equipment. So every year the equipment comes back to our headquarters in Green Bay, and we will look over it and do our very best to make sure it's ready to go for the mission early on in the season. But of course, during the season, things happen. We get flat tires, we lose bolts and nuts, and whatever it might be. Equipment's being used, so that means it's gonna, have depreciation, right? So their job is to make sure that it's well maintained, right? So just looking over all the equipment regularly, working with a local bike shop or other partners to facilitate repairs, coordinating with the staff on payment for those things, just making sure all their equipment is safe and it's comfortable and it's ready to go every single time we use it. They'll also be there to help assign equipment to captains, because they're working with the captains at being a member of the crew, and they know the equipment very intimately. They are going to be the ones that the race manager will collaborate with to consider, like, hey, what's a good chair for Joe, or what is it a longer one, because our chairs are all a little bit different depending on the needs of the captain. So that's the equipment manager. Next is the fundraising manager, right? So this is everyone's favorite role. Now, it usually is a unique individual that loves fundraising. I love fundraising. It's something I get competitive about, and I love it because it's something that I love to see people get involved in a different way, not just hands and feet, but also with their dollars. And there are people that want to do that. So this person will help identify and plan local fundraising opportunities that complement the fundraising efforts that our staff do and our board does from a higher level. So these are usually smaller fundraisers. It could be a dine to donate, or a small gala, or some of the local sponsorship opportunities. But this person will work very closely with our director of development to generate ideas and to co-present perhaps on some of the sponsorship opportunities in each of our 8 regions. So it's really a mix. There's a lot of different ways that we can do fundraising, and it depends on what really works in that region, and also what the skill set is of this particular individual, right? So it's not necessarily just about you fundraising peer-to-peer as a fundraising manager. It's also about how do we create events or processes or systems in which we can be successful fundraising. Next. Next one is outreach, right? So big part of our mission is reaching out to people and sharing what we do, why we do it, getting them excited about the mission, and inviting them to get involved, right? So sometimes people think that we are a team. We're not. We're really a team we say for anybody and everybody, right? But we know that when it comes to captains and angels, these groups need to have usually a warm connection. And so what this person will do, this outreach manager will do, will look for these different opportunities to go out and share the mission and maybe do it themselves or coordinate with their team members locally. So it could be a running club or a store or a service center that serves people with disabilities, or a service club like a Lions or an Optimist, or a company that we want to invite them to be angels. So it's really looking at those different avenues that we can go and we can share our mission, present for the goal to help recruit more folks to join us as angels, captains, volunteers, crew members, board members, whatever. So this person will be focused on that early season as we ramp into the season. That's the key time frame for outreach in the spring, but also throughout the year, just continuing to look at those opportunities and build up a calendar in their local region, and using the resources that the staff will provide for this individual, both tangible resources like banners and handouts and so on and so forth, as well as digital ones like PowerPoint presentations or whatever it might be. So that is the outreach manager. Okay. So those are the roles that we have for our crew. I hope that some of them interest you. These are incredible opportunities to build your social skills, your soft and hard skills, as well as your leadership skills. And of course, to make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities. It's also one of the most fun things that you could ever do. You're going to have a blast. If you've never done this before, maybe you've been an angel with us or a captain with us and you thought, maybe that's not for me. I hope this video challenges you to think about this opportunity a little bit more. And if you have any more questions, you can send us a message, or you can go to this website, myteamtriumph-wi.org/crew. And there's more information about the crew there. And then there's an application that you can fill out that will help you learn, again, more about the roles, and that will help start the process to become a member of the crew. And after you fill that out, I'll connect with you. I'll set up a time for an interview, a chat. And if it's a good fit, then that's great. We'll connect and we'll love to have you on the crew, right? So check us out. Head over to the website and learn more about joining the crew today. Take care. Thank you very much.